After a great card on Sunday at Sha Tin, we're back at Sha Tin again on a Wednesday night for 9 of the very best on the all-weather. Before Easter weekend, we return to Sha Tin again on Monday. A couple of group races there, looking forward to that, but looking forward to Wednesday night's programme as well. A very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined as always by our form analyst in Paul Alley and race caller Tom Wood as well. Tom, and what did you pick out as the highlights for us on Wednesday?
Yeah, well, it probably has to be the last race on the programme, Andrew, the Class 2 race of 1,650 metres. King Shield, Elusive Stake, Glorious Artist, Hong Kong Great all going around in there, plus a host of other good all-weather horses. Speed will be interesting in that race between King Shield and also Hong Kong Great, which could set it up for something to come from back in the field. But that's certainly the pick of the race as the final race on the 9-race card. Yeah,
we've got some all-weather regulars as well, Paul, and lots of horses making their dirt debuts, so plenty to figure out there. Any jackpots to speak of?
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones actually. 4.6 million going into the triple trio, so a decent jackpot there, and we're expecting that to get up to 9 million for a single winning $10 unit. And also in races 5, 7 and 9, we're putting $800,000 into the merged pools for the quartet and the first four. So we do that quite often on an all-weather meeting, and it's been very popular.
All right, OK, so plenty to look forward to, which we'll do in a minute. First, though, we'll look back on the action from Sha Tin in our racing review. There's lots of good racing on the weekend. We're going to focus, though, on the final race of the day. This was a Class 2 contest over the 1,200 metres. And the difference here, possibly, Tom, for Duke Y, was getting out of the gates and getting on the speed.
Yeah, he jumped really well on this occasion. He was up on the pace, as you mentioned, Andrew, and he was up there with Lucky Patch on the inside, but he'd put him to the sword at the 250. He just kept on going nicely here for Jerry Chow. It was a good ride from him, and he delivered, Paul, after a little bit of an unlucky run a few runs ago as well.
Yeah, and was a bit unlucky there for the second horse, wasn't he? The Crown. He was making the ground up pretty late there on him, so if he got out a little bit earlier, it might have been very interesting.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, it was very tight, I suppose, the finish in the end with the Crown diving at him, but I thought other than that, you know, it's a lot of really nice horses in behind him there, Duke Y. So a double on the afternoon for Jerry Chow and a double on the afternoon for Paul O'Sullivan as well. So he's gone up in the ratings as well now to 104. So they must be looking at some good races for him. But as far as the undercard was concerned, Tom, there were smart performances as well.
Yeah, there certainly was. We had horses like Authentic Champ, who was able to win. Goodview Clarico was a winner out of the stable of Dinner Ship. We saw Golden Link win, and a nice debutant Paul and Gallant Express win on the programme as well.
Yeah, he went up 9 points for that. He was very impressive. It was good to see City Legend put 2 together as well. He's gone up 8 points for that second win. We'll see if he can go for the hat-trick. Winner Method was very impressive earlier on, wasn't he?
He was indeed, yeah, winning up 9 points himself for that. So those are the big winners of the day. We'll see if we can find some more now with our horses to follow. You're up first as always. Paul, what do you find for us?
I've got a horse here who's had limited starts in Hong Kong called Let's Do It. He's up to 1,400 metres here. I thought it was ideal, and I'm really waiting for this horse to get up to a mile as well. You can see he's sort of on the inside there. He didn't have too much room. He did have the gap there if he was good enough, but then he sort of threaded his way through. The gap closed, and I thought he stayed on really nicely here over the 1,400. Once he gets up to 1,600 metres, I think it's going to be ideal, because you can see he was finishing off really nicely there at the end.
Yeah, beauty fit finishing third. Well found in the market. Would be an obvious one to follow out of that as well with that race under his belt. Tom, for you?
Seasons Bliss, who went round to the middle of the program, picked this horse out from the trials because I thought he'd been trialling really nicely. He'd been a little bit slat in a few of those trials, but had been under a good hold in them. And he got to the outside here around Pegasus Glory, and thought he finished off really nicely over the final stage. I think he's a horse that looks to have plenty of good ability on his side. This, of course, was the Gallant Express race, and there's been a few others in that race that have gone well in the past, but like the way he finished off here. Once he gets up over a bit more ground, because he's a big horse, maybe 1,400–1,600 metres, I think that's where we'll see the best of him.
OK, all right, we're going to have a look at the third race here for my horse to follow. Now, the winner, Winner Method, very smart. He's unbeaten in 3 yellow sleeves. Zach had to get to work on him here at this stage, but Flying High showed some really good speed here on debut. One to Remember was his name when he raced in Australia for Pat Farrell. Won twice over the 900 and the 1,000, and you can see that he had that early dash. I think fitness just gave way a little bit. I love his name, so he's a dream as far as potential one-liners go as far as Flying High is concerned. Just weakened late, but I think with that under his belt, he could improve and maybe get a return in the next couple of starts. All right, well, those are the horses to follow. We're looking at the suspensions and fines. Alex Lyne, Matthew Poon, and Jerry Chow as well, going back to Happy Valley as well. 3 days that was held over that inquiry. I think that brings us just about up to speed, and as far as looking back is concerned, as we start to look forward for our Wednesday night programme on the all-weather. Of the 9 races, we've got 2 Class 5s. Jockeys not riding. Wagner Borges, Antoine Hamlin and Alex Lai are on the sidelines for Wednesday night. We start off with the Class 5, one of 2 on the programme over the 1200 metres. Little Thunder heads the field. A course and distance winner, Tony Millard, Karis Teton. Runner-up behind Lucky Ruby, 2 starts back. Athena takes the drop in class. Smart Charade in that Lucky Ruby race, finishing in 4th. Dr. Proactive finished 3rd on that occasion. We've got winning strikes for O'Sullivan and Lung, who struck on the weekend. Yi Chong Lucky is a course and distance winner from earlier in this season. The Abraxa should roll forward from barrier number 6 and down to Kaiying Brilliance, who takes the drop from the 1650 behind Dead Heaters, Dragon Commander and Fairy Floss back to the 1200 here. Smart Charade, Fox Chunga, Red Majesty and Kaiying Brilliant, Tom, are the horses that have been on the road.
Speed should be good here for Class 5 at 1200 metres. A horse like the Abraxas will go forward. Now, he didn't actually lead in his most recent barrier trial. He got quite keen in that barrier trial, also did the Abraxas. He'll be up front. Winning strikes should be pretty much a lock for the trail for Derek Lung and Paul O'Sullivan. Yi Chong Lucky there, having his first run out of the Danny Shumban. Your Dr. Proactive looks a little tricky for him and Joe Moreira out of barrier number 10. Little Thunder, I think, should be able to hopefully slot in one off around Red Majesty. Athena on the 3 wide line. Kaiying Brilliance will get back. But up front, we'll certainly see the pace from the Abraxas.
Fox Chunga, the first horse we'll look at here, he's been placed once from his 3 starts on the all-weather as a winner earlier in the season as well, over the 1200 metres, and his work on the surface is normally pretty good. Down the back here, Yi Chong Lucky, I thought, even though it's on the turf, I thought I'd show this because he has changed stables, Yi Chong Lucky. The tongue tie will go on him for the first time, likely to go forward from barrier 5. He was the one in front, was Yi Chong Lucky, 357. And Everstrong, I thought it was a nice gallop from him. He's another horse who's won at higher ratings before. Alfred Chan was aboard and let the horse really stretch out here at the end, and he'll ride him on race day as well. He's down to a rating of 26.
OK, let's get straight into the key races here. Starting off with a Little Thunder. It's 2 starts back for him. So he's had a run at Happy Valley since. Ran well as well behind Flying Monkey over the 1000. But on this occasion, a Dr. Proactive, Smart Charade and Red Majesty in behind him, Tom.
Yeah, I think he's certainly better suited here on the all-weather as Little Thunder. That's where his sole winners come from. So class, course and distance, all-weather, I think, just maps perfectly here for him. He is drawn a little bit awkwardly, though, in gate number 9. Nothing wrong with the run of Dr. Proactive. He's drawn awkwardly, and it wouldn't shock if Red Majesty improves, Paul, because he has run the odd decent race in the past.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad run from him as well, but I'm with you. The 2nd and 3rd horses go in for me.
OK, what about then Athena, who takes the class drop here, all at the trials?
Yeah, so he's Athena. He's one of these ones that's having his first start on the surface. But the trial wasn't too bad. The cheek pieces will come off. He's just drawn awkwardly in barrier 12. That's what put me off him. But by Schnitzel, the surface should be OK.
Gets into Class 5 for the first time for Dennership. He's 3rd in this recent trial. He was just behind the speed. I thought he's been punched out a little bit there over the final stages. Awkwardly drawn, but wouldn't be a shock to see him improve in the grade as well. I think that's probably where he belongs.
All right, speaking of belonging in this grade, Winning Strikes, who takes the class drop here, gets the inside gate as well, Tom.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this trial. Held together nicely here. I think Happy Tango's the horse that's in front. And, well, he's had 1 run in Class 5. That was last start on the turf at Sha Tin over 1200 metres. But he's run his best race, I think, on the all-weather, or one of his best races anyway on the all-weather. And off that trial, where he maps Paul, he looks to be tough to beat, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And being by Swiss Ace and the way he works on it, it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem.
OK, so plenty of positives then as far as the Winning Strikes is concerned. But it's Little Thunder, Paul, who's our early favourite.
Got him in 2nd. I put Winning Strikes on just from barrier 1 versus barrier number 9. I don't think there's too much between them. I went 5 to beat 1 here. Everstrong in there for 30. He's a well-rated horse. I liked his gallop leading into this race. And Dr. Proactive ran really nicely 3rd behind Little Thunder when he ran 2nd. 5, 1, 10 and 4.
5 and 1 my cue as well, but I think Winning Strikes will be tough to beat in the first for Paul O'Sullivan to continue on his winning way after Sunday. Little Thunder, that's the obvious cue or forecast, I feel. Smart Charade, he wasn't bad last time out, I thought, at Happy Valley over the 1200 metres behind Fantastic Fabio. Prior to that, he'd run well behind Lucky Ruby on the all-weather. That was wet to slow on that occasion, however, and Athena might be able to improve just as drawn awkwardly here, but I thought 5 would be tough to beat. 5, 1, 3 and 2 in the opener.
1 or 2 Class 5s on the programme then. Race number 1. I've gone 1 and 4 as my cue there on the first.